In a corporate world where all employees have great leaders with no egos that create fun cultures where people can do their best work, the employees and companies thrive while doing great things for the customers, themselves, and each other.
Well, we know that rarely happens. I'm Jeff Palacio. I have been a leader for over 40 years for every t-shirt size company, from small 16 employees to extra large over 1 million. Please join me while I interview outstanding leaders that will share stories of great leadership and not so great. It will help you become a better leader while poking fun about all the crazy shit that happens in corporate America. In today's hiring world, finding top-tier talent can be extremely difficult. How do you want to differentiate your company in a highly competitive search pool? Do you want to fish in a crowded red ocean or stand out in a bright blue one? At Blue Ocean Search Firm, we empower visionary leaders with breakthrough hiring strategies, proprietary technology, and trusted partnerships to build transformational teams, all while maintaining the human element. As a Corporate Couch listener, you can receive 50% off savings on Blue Ocean talent acquisition fees. Please see the link in the episode description. Welcome to a special edition of the Corporate Couch. These episodes will be more of a love seat that focuses on one topic and will run 15 to 30 minutes. For each special edition episode, you will hear from one or more outstanding leaders sharing their expertise on the most important challenges in corporate America today. Welcome to another special edition of the Corporate Couch. This is the bi-monthly special edition with Blue Ocean Search Firm. Today's guest is the CEO, Jourdan Mercurio Lewis. Jourdan, welcome to episode 2.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, our first episode, which aired August 6th of 2025, talked about Blue Ocean Search Firm and a few things that are changing in the industry, and this is a continuing discussion of that. So very excited to talk to you. I love recruiting. I think hiring top talent and onboarding them and having a great culture where they can thrive is so important, but it starts with getting great people, and that's what you guys do over there. But, looking at your career, what in your career background attracted you to the recruiting space?
Yeah, so I actually, I have my master's in nutrition and human performance, and then my bachelor's in health science. So I ran my nutrition practice, specifically working in eating disorders and sports nutrition for 10 years. Got out of that after running my practice and growing it to 6 figures to be a mom. And had been asked just to help with a few things, did a lot of Canva in my practice, and it was in the recruiting. And I loved 2 things about it. One, I love to learn, and it is just such an evolving industry. And also, working with eating disorders on a daily basis, you're not always speaking with people who are excited to be meeting with you. So working in the space and working in we really add that humanized touch to it. So it's really nice to be speaking with people who want to be speaking with you. It was very attractive and filled my cup on a daily basis. Not that my son didn't. I wasn't ready to step out of being an entrepreneur. So it was the perfect space to go into to be able to work in a very healthy environment and then be able to step out of my office and go have that family time. It was the perfect balance.
Yeah. Well, you get a little family bonding because you work with your dad on a regular basis, as he's one of the other executives.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's fun.
It is a lot of fun, yes.
Yeah, so during your learning process, and obviously you recruited people before in your career, but in your learning process, what recruiting trends are you now seeing in the industry?
You see a lot of trends, and then you decide to either implement those trends for yourself or evolve above the trends. And I would like to say that in working in my practice, I always chose to evolve above the trends. Always go back to science, always go back to data, always go back to the things that you can evolve around or you can evolve upon, but still be able to scale. So right now you see a lot of people implementing AI, especially within their applicant tracking systems. You see a lot of more software versus, hey, just go to the application process, apply, and we'll get to you when we get to you. I've learned that very quickly, and you can see it very quickly. We chose to jump into the space immediately and go above the trends, which is how we use our systems to find the top talent, but we do not go through necessarily an applicant tracking system. We want to use our skills, having been in the industry collectively for 40 plus years, between my father being our CEO and our co-founder, between them and their experience, 40 plus years, and then myself being around it, associated with my father, and my husband's in the industry as well. So being able to attract the top talent seamlessly through our systems, but then be able to screen them and talk to them and find the things that you don't find on paper is kind of how we have taken the trends and then gone above and beyond to allow for those trends to be far more scalable and allow the top talent beyond just a piece of paper to be able to get into these companies.
Yeah, it's very interesting. My wife and I had an interesting journey post-COVID and during COVID in terms of job search and things like that. But I will say there's applicant tracking systems are so onerous and so dehumanizing, really.
Yeah.
I remember applying to a job at Garmin, I want to say it was 2009, when the applicant tracking systems were really coming into existence in corporate America. I literally, you would go through like 30 minutes of filling out, they wouldn't take your resume completely, you had to redo stuff, and that still exists today, which is crazy. But anyhow, I remember pressing submit, and within 15 seconds, I got a rejection.
Oh, yeah. I watched my husband go through the application process within the last year, and I think he got like a rejection at like midnight. He was like, that's, and he is a sales rep of the year, President's Club, but he did not have that one little check mark of a bachelor's degree. And so for that, it doesn't matter. I mean, what the hiring manager or what the sales manager wanted, he never got past the HR process. And so that is a very broken system. And I'm sure, as you guys saw on the episode with just my father, education-wise, on paper, does not have what you would want necessarily, but he got that chance. One person gave him a chance back in his late 20s and has held COO positions for very big companies and done a lot of growth in the industry. So that's all it takes, and that's the humanized touch that needs to happen in the industry in order to attract that top talent. Yeah, what I learned over time is that it's all about keywords, and they have certain knockout criteria. So, and I think it's ridiculous that you want somebody that has a bachelor's versus what the experience is or what that person stands for and their talent. So, but anyhow, we can have a whole episode on that probably. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be a really good episode to have a full conversation on just that alone, because I think it's very insightful to the industry. So yeah, good thought.
That'd be great. That could be episode 3.
Yes.
Well, so actually in the first episode, I remember it was either you or John referred to you and your team as recruiting consultants. Could you add a little more color to that? What does that actually mean? And does that have to do with your process or just your philosophy?
Yeah, it has to do with our process. So we really lean into our talent partner system. So that is where we can narrow down who we want within the industry. We never post a job for applicants to come into us. We are actively seeking the top talent, so very passive versus just inbound. And then whenever we get them in front of us, we're analyzing far more things than, hey, how much experience do you have? What numbers have you hit? We see that on paper. We have their resumes. We're more so vetting what they want to have culturally within a company, what they want to achieve, and as far as growth within a company, because that's typically why lots of people leave. They're either not seeing a lot of growth or they're not liking the culture that's within the company that they're at. So we want to make sure that we're not just putting, as I like to say, a booty in a seat. We are making the right connection for both client and candidate. That's the first part of our process. It's far more cultural and growth based in our screening. And then as we pass on, we always pass on the top 5 to 7 candidates to our client. And in the stage 2, we bring in our CEO. being my father, who has held, like I said, those executive level positions. And he actually sits down with the client and the candidate and makes a pros and cons list, consults more as to whether all of the things match so that the timeline and the length of the time that this person is with the company really lasts, so that you're creating those more tenured reps or whatever position it is within the companies versus such high turnover. So to kind of summarize that, very humanized, cultural based in the screening, and then we actually do more of a consultation in our second step alongside of the client and the candidate to make sure it's the best match.
Obviously, you have the job seekers that just undergo on the RIF, or their company got bought and they lost their job. But so those people are available, and that's, I think, a lot. Like, if you think they're a really great candidate and a really perfect fit for somebody, a company you're helping in a certain role, I mean, can you talk about? And again, at the end of the day, that person can can decide to take it further or say, no, I'm good. But the ones that you really want to convince to kind of, hey, just talk. What's kind of your process for that?
It's been interesting. We've had about 5 roles recently within the last month that have all been the same position, just different areas. And it was just this last one up in the Northeast, and we got a killer candidate in like the first round. I mean, couldn't find a better resume, and he wasn't looking, and he made a great base, but his cup wasn't being filled. So it's through conversation and actually listening to what they want to achieve long term, and money talks. But if you talk to them and you listen to them, you hear a lot of things that don't necessarily just matter as far as what you're selling. It matters about, wow, I'm spending 40, sometimes 60 hours a week in what I'm doing. And now that I say it out loud to a recruiter, yeah, I am pretty exhausted, and I would love to take something that appreciates the work that I'm doing or gives me more work-life balance. The things that weigh out and have them recognize those things as you speak to them are the things that grab the top talent, because we like to say that our clients that we work with match our company values. So, we aren't just taking on companies that we don't agree with. So whenever we're finding the top talent, we believe in the places that we're placing them in, and we want to give them that work-life balance alongside of the financial benefit that will support themselves and their family. So you just have to help them realize that, and just getting them to talk and really just being open allows you to attract that type of talent. So we actually, like I said, we just did that in the Northeast, and he'll be starting on September 1st. And without our processes, I don't think we would have gotten somebody like that, honestly. Yeah. So within the 3 days of the job being posted.
Yeah, that's fantastic. In terms of your reputation as blue ocean search firm out there in the industry, how does that differ from kind of the traditional recruiter's reputation?
I think it was a culture shock in this industry to step in and people be so, I don't want to say anti-recruiter, but to companies, you're not just like a, hey, walk in and people just, oh yeah, the recruiter's here. They typically have internal teams, or you're seen almost as, take this for what it is, but almost as the car salesman of jobs. Okay, yeah. You're always on it. You're messaging probably more than you want to, and that's not our process. So we actually, with our talent partner systems, we are not there to take a recruiter's job or to give a candidate that they can't find. We are actually there to implement our systems that we have built and created to help make their job easier. So that's where we are definitely different than what you see as a typical recruiter. We are here to provide you something to make your job easier, not provide you with the candidate that you can't find, which is what typical recruiters are reaching out in regards to.
Right. Yeah, having worked with a lot of different companies as an employee as well as a business partner, I think, what HR recruiting, and it's probably lack of time and other things that they're doing and all the demands of corporate America is just, I think it's hard for them to reach out proactively and find people that aren't looking. I mean, it's easy to put out a job ad and find people that are looking, because they're looking, so they're going to find you.
They are, yeah. And I mean, LinkedIn at the minimum charges you $8 a day if you're in the staffing or recruiting industry to post a job in the job board.
Yeah.
And that's the bare minimum. They actually recommend, like, whenever you first go to it to get optimal applications, $121 a day.
Yeah.
So that's a big spend. And then lots of companies are paying LinkedIn recruiter licenses. So we spoke with a company back in May. They were paying almost $2 million in LinkedIn recruiter licenses.
Wow.
A year.
Yeah.
So
what is that based on?
Our
number of ads, or what? How do you? That's a
employees that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the people. Yeah. The recruiter licenses. So that's for how many talent acquisition specialists or people that they're using within it. And that was actually the deal that LinkedIn gave them, because they were going to go try to use something else based on the price. And our systems all focus on not needing LinkedIn Recruiter. The way that we can scrape talent, the way that we can reach out to them and then add that personalized touch is very much what we promote. And not to go, LinkedIn is a great thing, but we want to help them find it, without having to always spend $1 million a year for a company or however much based on the company size.
Yeah. Very interesting. Jourdan, I know it's hard to predict the future, but based on everything you're seeing, what do you think the recruiting industry looks like in the next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, in the next 2 to 3 years, if I'm being completely transparent, they're probably going to be where we're at right now. We work with our partners out of the UK. They help us very much stay. They've been in this business for, close to, I think, 15 years. So they have been working on what we have implemented now for the last 2. So I think that most of the industry will probably choose to pick up where we're at right now. And we plan to stay another 2 years ahead to be able to build the industry in the way of which we hope it would be built. Ideally, our main goal is to help in the animal and human health space to make it a less turnover industry, and really create dynamic sales teams, product management teams, with our kind of leadership and to start that process.
Jourdan, thank you for coming on this second episode of our partnership. We'll include the link in the episode description to get 50% off your talent acquisition fees. So thanks again for coming on the Corporate Couch Special Edition today.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you for listening to this special edition of the Corporate Couch. If you enjoyed the episode, I would love for you to take 2 minutes out of your day to rate us 5 stars and write a review. Please join me weekly where I interview great leaders that share their career journey and their leadership wisdom.